Hello, friends. Today I'm going to tell you about a movie called Fall. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. A girl named Becky, along with her husband Dan and her girlfriend Hunter, love to do extreme sports. During the next ascent of the rock, Dan makes a mistake and dies. A year after the death of her husband, Becky falls into depression and ceases to keep in touch with loved ones. She still misses her husband and is increasingly abusing alcohol. On one of these evenings, Becky, leaving the bar, meets her father. He tries to explain to his daughter that endlessly grieving is not an option. If the situation had been the opposite, it is unlikely that Dan would have suffered so much because of it. Day after day, the girl continues to listen to Dan's answering machine. However, after a while, the number becomes inactive. Realizing that she will never hear her husband's voice again, Becky no longer wants to live. But suddenly the phone rings. Hunter says Becky looks really bad and it's time for her to get back to normal. She says that she wants to offer her something. Becky won't like the idea, but Hunter recommends she doesn't give up right away. 6 hours from where they are now, there is a very high abandoned tower, B67. Hunter intends to climb it and offers Becky to keep her company. This tower would be the perfect place to scatter Dan's ashes. Becky, of course, refuses, but the next day she still says she agrees. Her friend is very happy that Becky made the right decision, and together the girls go to conquer the tower. On the way to the planned place, the girls stop at a roadside hotel. Over dinner, Hunter says that he leads a video blog in which he does various extreme things. Becky says it's easier for Hunter to be who she is. She's cool, and to attract the attention of the audience, she just needs to be herself. A little later, after learning that charging the phone in the institution is paid, Hunter shows a small life hack: how you can charge any device by unscrewing the lamp bulb. When they get to the place, the girls take with them only a 15-meter rope, a selfie stick, quadricopters, and a couple of bottles of water. The plan is pretty simple. Climb the tower, take a couple of selfies, and scatter Dan's ashes. Everything about everything should take no more than 3 hours. After all that has happened, a year of binge drinking and lack of training, Becky is clearly worried. However, with shaking hands, she starts climbing the rusty stairs after Hunter. The higher they rise, the less reliable the metal structure becomes. With each meter, the force of the wind increases, and the vibrations of the rusty stairs are increasing. At about 300 meters high, one of the rungs of the ladder breaks off at Becky, and the girls decide to take a short break. Becky begins to worry that she will not succeed, and she agreed to it in vain. But Hunter, in her usual manner, calms her friend. After drinking water and having a little rest, the girls continue to climb. After finishing climbing the internal staircase and reaching the 500-meter mark, two extreme lovers switch to an even more unreliable external staircase to climb to the very top, to the observation deck. This ladder looks even less durable and may break at any moment. Climbing meter by meter, the fear overcomes Becky even more, and she asks Hunter to go down. However, a friend says that if she lets her go down, then fear will win, and she clearly does not intend to allow this. After they overcome obstacles in the form of satellite dishes, Hunter decides to add adrenaline to Becky, who is already very scared. Finally, having reached the top, the girls take some extreme selfies, shoot a video on a quadricopter, remember Dan with tears, and scatter his ashes. Becky has finally overcome her fear and is ready to move on, after which she suggests starting the descent down. As soon as Becky starts walking down the stairs, the rusty structure breaks, and what was supposed to happen happens. The ladder collapses, but the safety rope allows Hunter to hold Becky and save her from falling into the abyss. Hunter then manages to pull Becky back to the very top of the tower. The girls are shocked by what happened, but they are glad that they were able to cope with this situation. At the same moment, it dawns on them that they could only go down by the very stairs. Becky begins to panic, realizing that the situation is extremely bad. They are in the middle of the desert on an abandoned tower. Phones are out of touch, they have no food, and all the water was left in their backpack, which fell on a satellite dish. In addition to everything, Becky received a deep cut. Hunter says that the crash from the fall of this ladder should be heard all over the neighborhood, and right now someone is probably calling the rescue service. 5 hours later, the girls begin to suspect that no one will come to their aid. Hunter remembers that her phone was definitely picking up the signal downstairs because she saw likes on Instagram. However, she cannot know for sure at what altitude the connection was lost. Hoping that the connection has disappeared very close to the top, Hunter ties the phone to a rope and lowers it down to catch the signal. However, this does not give any results. Becky suggests preparing a message that should be sent as soon as the connection appears. Then they put the phone in their sneakers and drop it down. They don't know if they managed to send a message or if the phone crashed after all. But all they can do now is just wait and hope that everything worked out. A little later, Becky notices a tattoo on Hunter's leg, while Hunter sees a man with a dog through binoculars. The girls start screaming with all their might, but no one hears them. Becky starts taking off and throwing sneakers, and at some point the man draws attention to his dog, who clearly noticed the shoes flying from above. However, he does not attach any importance to this. Becky decides to fire the signal pistol they found in the drawer, but Hunter stops her. She notices that there are vans a little further away and someone is there. It is better to shoot at night so that the signal rocket is clearly visible. While waiting for dark, Becky reviews the videos of her and her husband and sees her friend looking at their couple with envy. At this moment, Hunter says that the guys near the van are going to leave and asks Becky to launch a rocket. Two men notice the signal shot and start moving towards them, realizing that the girls are trapped upstairs. However, Hunter sees how the guys are not in a hurry to save them at all. They just decided to steal the car in which the girls arrived. Becky sees the tattoo on Hunter's leg again and tells her that her husband Dan never said, "I love you." He always used code 143, the code that is visible on her friend's leg. Here, Hunter admits that she slept with Becky's husband, and their relationship lasted about 4 months. A friend asks Becky for forgiveness and tells her that Dan was the initiator of what happened between them. After Dan died, she was never able to become a reliable support for Becky and help her through this tragedy, because she felt guilty. Becky says that after they dropped the phone, a day passed and most likely the message was never transmitted. Hunter says she might be able to get the backpack that fell on the satellite dish. This way they will be able to get water and, most importantly, a quadcopter. They will be able to write a message and send it to the motel where they had dinner. Becky warns that this is a bad idea, however, as her friend assures her they have no choice. Gathering all her will into a fist, the girl begins to descend. As a result, Hunter is literally missing a couple of meters to grab a backpack. The girl decides to unfasten herself from the rope in order to get even lower, and then, after a good swing, she jumps right onto the plate. She took out her backpack, but now she needs to get back somehow. With the help of a selfie stick, she hooks the backpack on a loop of rope and then just jumps on it, risking simply flying down. Hunter shouts to Becky that teamwork is needed now. She will climb up the rope, and Becky must pull the rope with all her strength. And now, almost reaching the top, Hunter breaks down and falls down. After that, Becky is afraid to look down for a long time, realizing that her girlfriend is no more. But fortunately, Hunter turns out to be alive. She was able to grab onto the backpack but badly injured her hands, and now it depends only on Becky whether she can get out or not. As a result, having gathered all her strength, Becky pulls out her friend and saves her from death. After Becky has taken a couple of sips of water, she writes a message for help on paper, attaches it to the quadcopter, and sends it to the motel. But suddenly it turns out that the battery of the quadcopter is almost discharged, and the girls have to urgently return it back. After sitting up into the night and thinking about the hopelessness of the situation, Becky turns her attention to the warning light. She recalls how Hunter at the motel was able to recharge her phone by simply leaning the charger against the lamp's batteries. She is sure that this trick should work and charge the quadcopter. Then they will have a real chance of salvation. Becky starts lifting, and having reached the signal lamp, tries to connect the charger. However, the plug contacts do not reach. She puts a gold ring inside, and the quadcopter finally starts charging. In this position, Becky needs to hang out as long as possible to charge the quadcopter to the maximum. Having completed the task, the girl goes down and proceeds to send the quadcopter to the motel. It remains to fly only a few meters, but the quadcopter is shot down by a car. Becky starts screaming hysterically, realizing that the last chance for salvation has been lost. It will be almost impossible to survive even this night, not to mention the further expectation of salvation. Becky decides to throw away her phone in the hope that the message will still be sent, and the phone will not be broken. She asks Hunter for sneakers, but suddenly a friend says that her shoes are not here. Becky doesn't understand what's going on, and then Hunter says she's already dead. At the moment when Becky was pulling her friend, Hunter broke and fell on the satellite dish. Becky was just afraid to admit that she was alone, so she imagined that Hunter was all right. However, now she will have to face the truth. The next day, Becky sits motionless while a vulture pecks at her thigh wound. Suddenly, she grabs the bird by the head, kills it, and then eats it to somehow replenish her strength. After that, Becky climbs down the rope to Hunter's body, and then dials a message on her phone for her father, in which she writes that she is stuck on the tower and urgently needs help. After that, she shoves the phone into the sneaker and then into Hunter's body and throws her down. In the evening, Becky's father receives a message, informs all services and rushes to the tower, near which a bunch of rescue vehicles have already gathered. At first, Becky's father can't find his daughter, and when he sees the rescuers wrapping the body in a body bag, he realizes that most likely he was too late. However, at the last moment of the film, he hears Becky calling him from the ambulance.